All right. Thank you for watching a new edition of This Week in Pro Football. Fidel Barraza with you. And like always, my co host, Walter Stringer. What's going on, Walt?
Not much at all, but actually a lot. You and I went through a lot of stuff in the news we actually didn't even know was going on. I think we were both aware about the cornerback financial battles going on in New England as well as Seattle. But we did some digs, a little bit of digging into Bleacher Report, and we found some interesting stories for everybody tonight.
Yeah. And Walt, we've been gone for a couple weeks. So obviously, the World Cup is now over with. Spain beats Argentina in the finals on Sunday. Obviously, tournaments was going on for about 5 weeks. A lot was made about the grass fields and the stadiums that they actually already took out.
Yeah, a whole lot. I think it was sort of a teenager. I'm gonna compare the players to teenagers and the owners to be the parents, where it was kind of like, see, I told you we could happen. I told you it could happen. I know, I told you it was right. They're getting it right over there. Why can't you get it right? So I think overall, it brings up just another talking point when everybody sits down at that big table at the end of, was it 2027 season? I
Yep.
believe when they have that big meeting. So which is funny because it ties into something we did want to discuss tonight, which is the amount of money the NFL made in 2025, more than the NHL, MLB, and NBA combined, which is outrageous considering that they have more than quadruple the amount of games. And if you count baseball in its own entity, baseball is way more oversaturated. Like you can turn on TBS, TNT, ESPN, MLB Network, any streaming service, week, any day of the week, and find 7, 8, 9, 10 baseball games
Yeah.
going on at every time. So for the NFL to blow everybody away like that, man, and they don't even have enough overseas games. Imagine if they had, which I think there are, which also goes into what we wanted to discuss, them adding the extra team or what, 4 teams? Because they did want a team across the water.
And
They
eventually, I
wanted a
think that's going to
team.
happen.
Right, definitely. It's been reported that they wanted a team in, where was
London
it?
was one of the options.
Yeah, London. It was somewhere else over here though that they wanted another team. So all of that ties into what we're gonna hear argument wise when it comes to these teams, what teams, but the owners as well as the players association when they sit
Yeah.
down to have these discussions. I mean, what comes down as a player? What is most important to you? Because I believe NFL owners are banking on the players seeing more money
Yeah.
and saying, you know what, screw everything else. They're going to give us more money. We'll just complain the next time it rolls around to have this discussion. But they want guaranteed contracts. They want healthcare, fully cover healthcare, even after they're retired. So if you're the NFL and you look at positional rankings and payments going up consistently every year, we're about 3 years away from seeing a $30 million guard in the NFL. So if you're the NFL, do you actually come out cheaper just finally giving them fully guaranteed contracts or health care in the field or the grass field and fully guaranteed contracts, whatever, because the NFL isn't going to lose any money anytime soon. The only thing that can break the NFL is gambling, which that's an entire
Well,
different
and
discussion that we
yeah,
can
and,
have.
and you know what? Before we end the show, I do want to bring something up to that a story that broke out late Friday that I think the NFL wants everyone to forget about.
Share it with us.
I'll wait till the end of the show. So essentially, I mean, but going back to the grass fields, I mean, it just would make sense, right? I mean, how many injuries have we seen at MetLife Stadium with the players, right?
Okay.
I mean, and if you're able to, do this for the World Cup, which only happens every 4 years, and you don't get to host the World Cup back to back, it would just make sense for them to do it for the players' safety. But again, it's going to be money. It's going to be very expensive for these teams to do. Yeah, but they're making a lot of cash. So maybe the next time they have a CBA agreement, this is something that they're going to bring up. And I believe that the NFL is going to ask them to add another game on top of, what they already have going on during the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, it's all part of negotiations.
Yeah.
Even if you're the big bad NFL, you have to give a little to get a whole lot. Because at the end of the day, the NFL is going to get the majority of it. It's going to end up looking, what, 70-40, probably in favor of what the NFL ultimately wants. But something that could come up in negotiations, which may be hard for the players to prove, unless they're keeping track of statistics on where these guys get injured. It's going to be hard to just ultimately prove that everybody's getting hurt on artificial field. Guys are tearing ACLs and meniscuses on grass. Is it because it happened on his own, or was it because he was running through the hole and a safety flew in low and hit his knee? So it's gonna be hard to prove unless they like I said, unless they're tracking these statistics in regards to where these guys get hurt or how often do guys get hurt on grass in comparison to artificial fields. Did that particular player already have an injury, a sprained knee? There's a lot of data tracking that's gonna go into this. So it could be hard for the NFL Players Association to prove that, hey, we absolutely need this. And what if it happens? They're gonna do some sort of statistical tracking, I guarantee you, because you're right, it's gonna come up at the meetings. I guarantee you this season is where all the data tracking is gonna come into play. Okay, how many guys are getting hurt? How often are they getting hurt? How serious are these injuries? Like, there's a lot that really goes into that. So
They're probably doing it already, Walt.
yeah, they're definitely gonna do it because the NFL, they're gonna cross their T's and dot their I's. So when they come to the table in 2027, they're gonna have everything that's gonna let the players know, okay, listen, you say this and that, well, our numbers say this and that, plus that and that. So I would say right now, if the NFL caves on anything, it'll probably eventually be the healthcare. And it probably should be. I mean, at the end of the day, the players are going to keep making money. They're never going to give them the fully guaranteed contracts. I get that, but you can at least take care of these players after they're done.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, adding the additional game, it's going to happen at some point.
No, of course, that in particular is going to happen. They're going to add more teams also, and if they add more teams, that's what I think you and I were partially discussing before we started the video. If they get 4 more teams over the next 6 years, they're going to go up. They're going to keep going up in the games. They're not going to stay at 17 games. We already got double headers on Mondays. We got a game on Tuesdays. They're becoming, and once again, gambling is the only thing that could possibly take the NFL down. It's like they're going overboard with the product. They want to smash everybody. They're not allowing baseball to have their time. They're not allowing the NBA to have their time. They're just cutting into everybody's money. The NHL is already losing money.
Yeah.
And the
Uh,
NFL is just walking into the room saying, hey, let me get some of that turkey. Let me get some of those tacos, and let me get some of those beans over there, and let me get a piece of that cake while I'm at it.
yeah.
So it's crazy, man, but that's why they smashing everybody. How often do you and I complain about the games that we see? The Thursday night games, the
I
Tuesday, the
I
Saturday,
don't
the rant,
complain, man. I love it, man. I love it all.
and
Do
you're
the
a part
players
of
do? Do the
I'm gonna
players?
say I'm not
No.
gonna say you're part of the problem, but
Well, I'm a
but
consumer.
you're the fan that they see it and they say, "You know what? You guys say we give you crappy games, but the ratings don't say that."
They don't,
But I
because
think
guess
that
what?
goes into how much we love football also.
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna watch. I mean, just think about this season, right? Obviously, we're gonna have a Wednesday kickoff game between the Seahawks and the Patriots. The next day, we're gonna have the Niners and the Rams play from Australia, which I mean, essentially, they had to move the opening game to Wednesday because of the time differences between here and over there. The week of Thanksgiving, well, we have a game on Wednesday night between the Rams and the Packers, and then of course we have Thanksgiving Day football, and then we have Black Friday football.
Yep, cutting into college football, right? And that's typically when we get what the conference championship games, I
Well,
believe.
yeah, but most of them they're played on Saturday, so
Yeah, but they're cutting into that too.
well, I don't think there's games that Saturday, that weekend. I think that's not till December.
Yeah, I
But I
haven't
mean,
looked at
look,
it that deep.
but while the demand is there, and they are taking advantage of everything. I mean, shoot, even on Christmas Day, there's gonna be games like there was last year. But yeah, I mean, obviously, we know the most popular sport in the U.S. is NFL. Second is college football. They're all football.
And you're taking shine from college. They
Oh,
won't even let college live. What about MAC football on Wednesdays, man? Why can't Bowling Green and Akron have their own platform, man?
only
Which
a
I
few
will
sick
watch.
people watch
So
that.
that proves what I'm saying. I'll be
Yeah.
watching Miami of Ohio and Akron on a Wednesday.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, the report that came out today about them making more revenue than the three other sports, I'm not surprised.
No, of course not. And like I said, they're cornering the market. It used to be okay during spring and summer. Hockey was done, NBA was done. Football, of course, was hadn't or will completely nowhere near getting started. Baseball had its time. But then the NFL draft became so huge that the popularity in NFL never died down because soon as the Super Bowl was over with, you got what? Senior Bowl, East West Shrine Bowl,
Combine,
NFL Combine, Pro
NFL
Day.
free agency.
Yeah. Yeah. So the thirst for the NFL never really stops until around this time. And then what? In another 3 weeks, everybody's going to be worked up until a lather. And next thing you know, college football will be back in 39 days. And then once college football comes back, 2 weeks later, you got the NFL, and then boom. Nothing
Yeah.
else matters.
Yeah, so I mean, we're gonna have the Hall of Fame game here. What just in a couple weeks? We're 50 days away from the actual kickoff of the regular season as of today. So I mean, it's here, man. Training camp again is going to start soon. The two teams that are going to report already are going to be the ones that play in the Hall of Fame game, which I believe are the Panthers and the Cardinals, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, man, it's football year long.
Yeah. So, all right, man. What do you think about going on with Devin Witherspoon? And we can kind of speak on both because his situation seems to be getting handled a lot better and a lot cleaner than Christian Gonzalez' situation. There's been a lot of internet talk between people in the organization or reports of people in the organization in regards to Christian Gonzalez and his contract. I believe he gets paid. They have a history of paying them. Now, towards the end with Bill, when he was there, they got to a point where they viewed those cornerbacks as throwaways. They drafted a lot of really good corners when Bill Belichick was there, but they never overpaid any of them. They paid Ty Law, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
Who else did they pay? They paid somebody else. McCourty got paid, but
McCourty got paid.
yeah, Ashanti
Yeah,
Samuel got paid. But it's been a long time since they had a cornerback like him. A
they
guy
paid
like Christian Gonzalez.
Ellis Hobbs. He didn't get paid though.
Ellis Hobbs. Hobbs, yeah, but Hobbs was a journeyman. They kinda got in a
I
good
would,
system.
yeah, I'm just thinking about like the year 2007, 2008.
Yeah. We know there's a lot of gamesmanship when it comes between these owners and then GMs and who's gonna pay who. Same thing going on with, I believe, the Atlanta Falcons with Bijan Robinson and Detroit Lions with Jahmyr Gibbs. Who's gonna pay who first? I think both situations have their own uniqueness to it because if you're Detroit or Atlanta, you're almost better off beating each other to the punch.
Yeah, because you're going to pay less money. And then here's the other thing with Detroit. Didn't Dan Campbell say that the offense was going to run essentially through Jameer?
Yeah, I think there's a higher chance of Arthur Blank paying Bijan Robinson huge money
I would pay him. He's
because
worth it.
Blank has shown he's willing to pay. He's going to take care of his players. Detroit has invested so much money already in the core players. Jamison Williams got paid. St. Brown got paid. Jared Goff, of course, got paid. Panay Sewell got paid. Kirby Joseph got paid. Aiden Hutchinson got paid. Jack Campbell just got paid this offseason. So you would figure eventually somebody has to be the odd man out. But if nobody's the odd man out this year or next year and Jahmyr Gibbs gets paid and he becomes a $22 million a year running back, even though, of course, we know nobody's actually making exactly $22 million a year.
Yeah.
He may get a huge signing bonus, a lot of money up front. He
Yep.
may have a flat pay rate of what, maybe 16, $17 million this year.
It
But
depends.
yeah,
Honestly,
but he'll make up for it in a lot of that upfront money. But
endorsements,
yeah,
things like
definitely,
that.
definitely. But if you're Detroit, if you pay him to me, it signals the end of Jared Goff within the
Well,
next 2 years because he's the only
yeah.
guy that you can't pay again.
Well, you
You're not gonna
actually,
pay a 33-year-old quarterback, 34-year-old quarterback another
yeah.
contract.
And that was the point I was going to bring up. I think after this season coming up, I think they're off the hook for a lot of that money in Jared Goff. So if they did want to move on next season, I think they are able to.
Yeah, because I mean, you just recently invested so much money in guys that are substantially younger than him. Not to rag on Golf, but Golf is obviously a guy that's in the twilight years of his career. He's still
Yeah.
playing pretty good football at a high level, but he's not in his prime. Well, technically, he actually still is, but he's trending towards the back end of his career. Still pretty healthy.
Yeah. He's stayed healthy.
That's one thing you can always say about Golf. But to me, and I'm pretty sure you can agree, the writing's just on the wall. 23-year-old running back getting big money, 24-year-old wide receiver getting big money, and Jamison Williams, other wide receiver getting big money. Panay Sewell, building block, he got his money. Another guy who hasn't got paid yet, he may be the odd man out, and that's Sam LaPorta. Just be honest about it. So
Wasn't there rumors out there that he might be on the trading block?
true, true. They've been very, very hush hush with him all offseason. And as we know in the NFL, when organizations refuse to talk about an injured player or a guy who may still be possibly injured, that kind of spells potentially the end for him moving forward. But like I said, you're not going to pay him too. You're going to make him a $20 million a year tight end. And he's got back issues and had the spine issue tied to the back last offseason.
Yeah.
Well, actually not last offseason, but and then Isaac Tesla. Like, what if he becomes a star? You're gonna want to pay him. So it just all points towards Jared Goff being the odd man out by default because nobody else is going anywhere. Jack Campbell's not leaving. Brian Branch has to get paid as well. So,
Coming off
but
injury too.
yeah, but I think in Witherspoon's situation, and we can go through these numbers real quick for everybody. The only guy I believe in the top 10 because Ahmad Gardner's number 1, Derek Stingley's number 2, J.C. Horn's number 3, Patrick Surtain is number 4, Deron Bland is number 5, Jalen Ramsey's number 6, A.J. Terrell's number 7, Denzel Ward's number 8, Marshawn Lattimore number 9, and Marlon Humphrey's number 10. So he's going to jump everybody from Humphrey all the way up to, I would say, he would probably jump Patrick Surtain and J.C. Horn. And it may sound blasphemous because Surtain is probably the number 1 corner in football, but when he got his money, he got paid like the number 1 corner in football.
Yeah.
So we know how these numbers fluctuate based on who's up. The question is Sauce Gardner, because 3 years later, you can make the argument that Sauce, he's not better than Jalen Ramsey is probably still playing at a consistently high level than Gardner, but he's a guy that got paid extremely quick. So what are we looking at? Maybe Witherspoon becoming a $31.5 million corner?
Yeah,
It's kinda hard to
possibly.
justify not making more money than Ahmad Gardner, though, and I don't want it to sound like I'm just completely trashing him, but he hasn't played as good as the other guys in that top 5 for the most part. Deron Bland had a lot of picks, but it's kinda by default kinda messed up because he should be making more than Ahmad Gardner, but it's hard to pay him more than Derek Stingley or J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain. So, if you're Seattle, how high do you go? I mean, you traded Tariq Woolen. You lost another guy in free agency. I forgot the corner's name. So you got to pay somebody on the defense now. How high do you go if you're Seattle?
Well, I just want to read this. This is from Ian Rappaport, NFL Network. Seahawks have offered Witherspoon a deal worth upwards of $30 million that would put him among the highest paid cornerbacks in the league.
Yeah, so he's going to be somewhere. Let me take a look at this real quick. J.C. Horn is third at 25 mil, so he may get 27 mil.
Well, he said upwards of 30.
Towards 30. I mean, Stingley right now, overall, he has the highest paid contract. So let's get to this because I think same thing with Jamar Chase. Is it about the annual pay or is it about the overall abundance of what I get out of that contract? Because while Stingley is the second high, technically is the second highest paid cornerback in the league right now at 30 annually, 30 mil a year, JC Horn's 25. But
Yeah.
Stingley has overall the highest paid out contract for a cornerback in NFL history.
Well, let's just say that the contract's 4 years, right? By year 2 or 3, you're going to want an extension because you do not want to go into the season, on just on a 1 year deal because the injury factor, right? What if I get hurt? I'm not going to get paid the same. So to me, a lot of the numbers, 3, 4 year contracts, I mean, obviously they're going to want a contract by like the end of year 2 or 3.
I would say 3, unless you just completely outperform your contract. Like, say guys like him and Christian Gonzalez, you go out there and you get 6 picks, 28 PBUs, you make first team All-Pro. You go out there the next season, you get yourself 7 or 8 picks, another first team All-Pro. I can kinda understand the cornerback saying, "You know what? Let's redo this deal." Or even if we don't redo the deal, let's do an extension.
Yeah.
Give me a little bit more money up front.
Couple of years.
Yeah, these organizations know how to handle it with the
Yeah.
money, but Christian Gonzalez, he favors in all this as well. Like, where does he slide at? Because I think that's really where the competition's at. He was first team All-Pro, if I'm not mistaken. So both of these guys by default are going to jump Patrick Surtain and J.C. Horn. I think what it comes down to is where do they fit in? Who becomes number 2 behind Ahmad? I'm not sure if they're going to give him 30 mil though.
It'll be up there. Maybe
Oh,
25,
definitely,
26.
definitely, it's going to be up there though, and he deserves it.
Yeah. Maybe 25, 26. Whoever signs second is going to get paid more money.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. All right, what else you want to touch on, man? Because there's a lot of stories I'm looking at. Saints likely to extend Olave. Report, Penix Falcons future unclear. Roger Goodell expected to get extension.
Which, I mean, honestly, he's kind of earned it. Think about how much revenue they were making whenever he first came in the league as
Yeah,
commissioner, and look at where everything's at now.
can't disagree, brother.
Yep.
Not without.
But I did want to bring something up, and I'm surprised you haven't brought this up. There was a story that came out Friday afternoon about the Arizona Cardinals, a gambling scandal. Arizona Cardinals director of college scouting Ryan Gold was suspended for violating the league's gambling policy. Now, apparently, he was tipping off picks of his friends, and I think maybe his wife made a pick. And this is all kind of going with
Draft,
the
not,
NFL
I mean,
draft.
not draft picks. You're talking about game picks.
No, draft picks
Really?
during the NFL. Yes, there's a story out there. You can look it up yourself if you'd like. But after an investigation, the NFL alleged that Gold provided insider non-public information regarding the team's 2026 draft picks to unnamed parties. The investigation found Gold revealed the information before the Cardinals announced their picks. Gold was also found to have placed parlay bets on NFL and college games.
All right, so how big of a factor does the prior really play? So is it on well, I get it because people gamble on everything, so during the NFL draft, you can actually gamble on who the players are gonna
Yeah.
be picked.
And I got to add this real quick. Gold's attorney denied the accusations and said in a statement to ESPN that his client will appeal the suspension.
Of course.
Now, you don't think, there's others that might do the same thing? They
For a
talk to
fact.
their friends. They talk about, hey, well, they'll get
For a
asked probably,
fact.
hey, who are you guys going to draft? You
For
might
a
get a couple
fact.
drinks in, feel comfortable, maybe say some things that you regret to say later. I mean, but to me, it was kind of, and credit to Mike Florio for bringing this up. That they kind of do these news dumps of stories on Friday afternoons, so that way you have the weekend to maybe forget about it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, but to me, this story is massive.
Yeah.
Because how many times have we
It's
talked
hard to
about
contain it in the NFL, man. It's
well, but how many times have we talked about this?
constantly,
About,
probably every show at some point in time because it's that huge. Yeah, it's I've had this discussion with one of my best friends for years. If you look at the average NFL organization, I'm not sure about hockey, but if you look at Major League Baseball, if you look at the NBA, in comparison to the NFL has way more moving parts within the organization. I mean, outside of the suits upstairs, you got
yeah,
about 10 of those suits upstairs. Then you got head coach, and then you got assistant coach and offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and you got linebacker coach and DB coach and running back coach, and then you got assistant DB coach, and
yeah,
then you got all of these players. They're going to extend the rosters eventually. That's something else that's going to come up in the
I
discussions
yeah,
another year or so.
I, I
I mean,
do want to
going to what,
read.
62?
Yeah, I do want to read another section of this article from CBS Sports. Caspino said Gold could not have afforded information on the draft picks because he had no knowledge of which players the Cardinals plan to select. Only team owner Michael Bidwell and general manager Montiel Sorford were provided the information, Campino said. He also said that Gold was not involved in the betting on games, rather than it was Gold's wife who placed weekly $10 wagers with a group of high school friends.
Okay. And she has every right to do that. Good for her. Take the rap, baby. Can't nothing happen to you. Let's sweep this whole situation under the rug. But no, we talked about this years ago. Toothpaste is out of the tube. They can't control this shit in college football. Watch how many scandals we get once college basketball season starts.
We
They
saw a
can't
couple.
control it. They can't control it in the NFL for damn sure. People gamble. Listen, man, where was I at, man? I was in where was it? Dunkin' Donuts. I was in Dunkin' Donuts a few days ago and overheard some teenagers talking about parlays. Like these was high school kids with their phones out in Dunkin' Donuts putting in parlays, baseball parlays, this, that.
Good for them.
Dude.
I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah.
accessible, Walt.
Way to get
Your
your piece of the pie out here in
your
America.
device, you can have access to any gambling on here. It's
Okay,
super easy
so
now.
what makes people believe that referees aren't in on it? There aren't rogue referees. The more money involved and the more people involved, the more crooked stuff happens.
Yeah.
People always feel like I won't get caught. It's gonna always happen, man. And worst thing the league could have did was get in bed with DraftKings and FanDuel on them because now it makes everything that happens, everything that views from our viewship as fans a little bit shady in these games.
I mean, it kind of
It's
did
gonna make
already
everything look
at
even
some
worse.
games. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't mess around and get scab officials this season. Dude, we can't have a calm it's way worse. I don't know why it's so bad in the NFL, maybe because people bet on you would think people would bet on college football more than the NFL because there's way more games.
Well, they probably
But
do.
but dude, look how unhappy social media is on Sunday afternoons, bro. My
Well,
parlay, this happened. The ref screwed us. The games are fixed. Dude, you go through any football post on Instagram, all everybody's talking about is numbers and how the
I
NFL's fixed.
I get it. So something to keep an eye on, but I thought it was pretty interesting, so I wanted to bring it up.
Do you think could the NFL su all right, Imma state this question like this. One, do you think the NFL could survive? Is there a certain scandal the NFL just possibly couldn't survive? And if it came down to gambling on games, like Brendan Sorsby, for example,
That's different though.
would it be unsurvivable if we found out Patrick Mahomes was doing that?
He wouldn't do it though. I
He
highly doubt.
wouldn't. I see I'm not saying he would.
But
Would it
well, I mean,
matter
okay.
more if it was him or if
If
it
you
was,
put it just well, if you
a
want to put
coach?
a major star, a big name coach gambling on this, I mean, obviously,
And it would have to
what
be
they
a head coach.
Would they
or
survive?
offensive
Would the league
team.
survive? Yes, they would. But I think they, for the most part, I think they've done a pretty good job with, integrity of the players and coaches. The
Yeah.
referees, that's different. They don't get paid the same, right, as the players or the coaches. So I mean, look, people are going to speculate. They're going to, if their kicker misses the kick towards the end and it's from like 25 yards and it's wide left, right. I mean, people are going to be talking, right, especially because Vegas is so good with the numbers on the games.
Yeah,
They're I mean, well, they're, like, almost spot on sometimes, if not spot on.
the thing is the NFL hasn't had anybody. I'm pretty sure they have a very, very solid foolproof damage control situation already set up to
Uh,
prevent that even getting out to the media, like,
yeah, put it to
and
you like this.
we haven't had any major players. Brendan Sorsby is probably the biggest name, and he wasn't even really a big name in college football, so
Yeah.
Jameson Williams bet
Yeah,
on women's college basketball, I
that's
believe.
different. Well, I'll say this. If there are coaches, players gambling on the game, front office executives, the NFL is gonna know before any, one of us does. Like, it will not get out first.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna eventually start hearing about TV personalities, and they have inside information. So I wonder what are the policies set up for people like, well, Ryan Clark doesn't work for them anymore, but Teddy Bruschi and some of these personalities. Like, you think we don't know that you're privileged to a lot of very, very important information?
Teddy Bruschi still works for ESPN?
Well, I don't know it. Not
Uh, I don't
names
know,
up there, but
and the reason
TV
why it
personality.
has is because, ESPN obviously, went through, like, a mass layoff, including
Yeah.
Ryan Clark and Cam Newton. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I was just wondering what are the policies for people who work for the NFL like that because you're in the
Well
circle.
let's talk about Tom Brady, right? He is a minority owner with the Raiders, and he is also the color analyst for Fox, number 1
Brady
team.
always stirring up conflict.
But I don't think he's allowed in the production meetings.
What are you guys doing in there? Get lost, Brady. Watching film. There's
Uh,
donuts in the break room. Chill out.
he doesn't eat donuts, avocados only.
There's oat milk. There's oat milk in the break room, Brady. Chill out, lame. And then insulted him while he walked away.
I don't know.
I
Just another thing that they have to worry about.
oh, yeah, the NFL got a lot to worry about. It's a new WWE, man.
But guess what? Walt, they got cash, and the revenue keeps going up.
If one thing we've been proving to the NFL, domestic violence can't take them down,
Well, it depends who you are.
murder can't take them down,
Depends who you are.
homicide, manslaughters, racism,
Depends who
like
you are.
nothing nothing can take the NFL down.
Oh,
Lawsuits,
no. No way.
emails,
Nothing.
nothing can take the NFL down. But I'm telling you, man, gambling and we're in a society right now where people take their gambling so serious, man, because you know why? They work Monday through Friday. They cash their paychecks, they pay their bills, they take care of their kids,
Yeah.
they put food on the table. And what does that guy and that gal do for the weekend? I'm gonna have a little fun. I'm gonna bet on some games.
Drink some beers and gamble.
If a scandal ever came out big enough where it's like it would have to be the officials. And why, I don't know, but if we found out the officials, because the officials are tied directly to wins and losses. You could say the players are, perhaps, but at the end of the day, the officials have more say so on wins and losses than the players do.
It's a tough job. It really is.
Yeah, but
They
how
should
many
get paid a lot
times
of
have
money.
we set up and watched the games on Sunday? You, me, everybody we know, watch the instant replay, see that the player's foot was clearly in bounds or clearly out of bounds, and they come from underneath that damn tent talking about no catch or catch. And we're sitting there, what the hell did they really just see? And then Monday morning, the NFL always capes up for them. They never throw their officials under the bus, but it's obvious that they got it wrong.
Yeah,
And we always hear about some new rule. It always happens during a Lions game.
man, stuff.
Well, this new rule came in from New York.
You
Just
always be thinking they're out to screw the Lions. Actually,
every
they were
every fan
actually
base thinks the refs
they,
out to screw.
they were actually out to screw the Raiders.
Nah,
I
I don't
won't.
know.
I'll never forget
That
that snow
Cowboys
game in
fan
Fox.
that's what I'm saying, man. It's gambling has become so big, man. People respect their money. Now they don't respect it enough to not gamble it out every single weekend, but people take their gambling serious, man. If
Well,
the
won't.
NFL had like a Black Sox scandal or something, I don't
Well,
know.
it's called gambling for a reason.
Yeah, but
You're gambling. You're gonna win money or you're gonna lose money. More than likely, lose money.
I think most
And,
gamblers understand that.
and guess
But
what? You're gonna keep on betting. It's not gonna
yeah,
stop.
but when you find out things aren't on the up and up, it's like, what if you go to the casino and you find out the dealer been cutting cards the whole time?
That's different, though.
No, it ain't.
Yes, it is. It's a table
They
game.
cutting cards in the NFL.
Come on, it's different.
Come on, you playing with a loaded deck. You find out the officials that decided, you know what? It's tough to fix. I think it's easier to fix point spreads than it is to fix games outright. Not to say that I believe the NFL is fixing games. I really don't believe that. What I do believe, and I'm gonna say that right now, that there's way more concern with point spreads, overs and unders when it comes down to how much money is on this team. Because we talked about the Carolina Panther Rams game. We did a show on that game heading into the playoffs last year and the numbers on that game. And people don't understand how much money Vegas stood to lose if Carolina would have won that game. Because prior to the kickoff, all of the money was on Carolina. If Carolina would have pulled that game out, Vegas would have lost a lot of money. And I'm not saying the game was fixed. I believe ultimately the Rams were the better team. They were the more
Yeah.
seasoned football team, and they did what they were supposed to do. But I don't know, man. It's just like I said, when it comes down to Vegas, we know the history of Vegas. Listen, man, look at how corrupt boxing is.
Well,
Now,
it's
I
called
get
gambling.
boxing is its own entity,
It's
and that's
called
a huge
gambling. It's
I
gambling,
get
man.
it, but if there's crooked behavior in boxing, what makes people think there isn't crooked behavior in Vegas when it comes to the NFL
We don't
or
know.
baseball?
We
But
don't
we
know.
know boxing's crooked.
Oh, that's different. Different sport.
Yeah, but it's still Vegas got his hands in everything. You think they're a lot dirty over here, a tiny bit dirty over here, but they clean over here.
Vegas gonna Vegas, man. And that's it.
Let me ask you this. I've never asked you this before because we digging deep into this gambling stuff. Was it Tim Donaghy?
NBA referee?
You put any credence into his claims on that Sacramento Kings LA Lakers series, as well
No.
as the Portland Trail Blazer Laker Game 7?
No.
Because it benefited your team.
How do you know that Robert Ory
I
was
know
gonna
you're
make
a
that
Laker
shot?
fan.
I am a Laker fan. I've
Why don't
seen it. I've
you
seen
don't
the
think
interview
there's any
segments.
credence to it?
No comment. No comment.
I don't know.
All right. Well, so let's get past all this gambling stuff
Yeah,
real
we
quick
not
because obviously, man, we can talk, the whole show about it. But the Hall of Fame game is going to be played on August 6th. So I mean, shoot, man, it's just around the corner. Again, all teams are going to be reporting by next week on the 28th, I believe. Yeah, man, football's here.
definitely. We got what, Panthers, Cardinals?
Panthers, Cardinals,
Yeah.
August 6th. Which is a Thursday.
Yep. Big year for Bryce Young. Big year for Carson Beck, I guess, or whoever's going to be under center.
Jacoby Brissett is still looking for a contract as the NFL starter for the Cardinals. Reports are indicating negotiations have not gone very far. So odds are we'll probably see Carson Beck. But yeah, man, football's here. I'm excited.
So there haven't been any numbers that came out on Jacoby Brissett?
The only thing I read was that the negotiations are not close. I mean, what could he want?
Well, we could go to over the cap, but I'm not going to go over the cap.
But maybe I
He
mean maybe
actually played well last year,
he did. I'm not saying he didn't play well.
but he's still a career vet. I mean, your reputation is what it is at this point in time in your career.
Yeah.
I don't know what he thinks he should be paid. I have no idea where the numbers are at or what Arizona values him at. But
I don't
at the
know.
end of the day, we still
Just
we
lose every
know all of
game.
this is
Start
leading
Carson Beck.
into next offseason and drafting a quarterback. Do the Arizona Cardinals even give a damn? They may feel like, you know what, just throw Beck out there. Just throw somebody out there. Because they had the opportunity to sign Malik Willis. I guess. I'm not sure if they made him any offers, but
I don't think so.
it felt to me like if you wanted a legit upgrade at quarterback and you somebody that can step in and help you win next year, you would have went with Malik Willis.
Well, but look at the
But
division. You think they have a chance? You got the Rams. Aaron Donald is more than likely
I don't
coming back.
believe they do.
You got the
But
Niners.
that's also the difference between how an organization like Arizona thinks and how an organization like even the Saints think. The Saints may stink, they
No,
may
but
not be up
but
to
that's
par, but the Saints still compete. They try
that's
to
di-
put teams out there
that,
though.
that's different though. Look at that division. Look at this one, the NFC
Well,
West.
I get it, but if we're just talking about in regards to like the thought process of these organizations, when has Arizona ever said, you know what, we're going out to win?
But to
This record,
me,
this roster may say we're not, but look at the Steelers. The Steelers don't know when to quit. They're trying to
hey,
actually win every year.
hey, real quick. Actually, a story came out today that Aaron Rodgers actually was hanging out with his family, and
What?
yeah. So good for Aaron Rodgers. Reunited with his mom and dad and his family. That was a good story to see today. But we're talking about the Cardinals and the Saints, two different teams. The Saints think they might have the franchise quarterback already, right? We saw what they did last year. With the Cardinals, Kyler Murray was there. He got hurt and then just didn't play. Jacoby Brissett played well, but they still lost games,
Yeah.
right? You
But I
draft
say,
Carson Beck.
but Arizona's playing. They're not playing it like a team that says, or a team that feels like we're too stubborn to understand we can't compete.
Look,
They understand they can't, so they're
look,
playing for next year.
let me tell you this. If they believe they can't compete, if they don't believe they can't compete, that doesn't matter because they're going to lose a lot of games next season.
Listen, they took Jeremiah Love where they took him, and I had this discussion with someone recently. The Jeremiah Love pick wasn't for Carson Beck. Well, maybe if it works out for them, it will be for Carson Beck. But it wasn't made for Jacoby Brissett. It wasn't made for Kyler Murray. Sit down, buddy. Sit down. Dog getting foolish. The Jeremiah Love pick was made for the next quarterback who's coming in. They needed a quarterback. I believe they understood they needed a quarterback, but in this past draft class, the quarterback wasn't there. So what do you do when you need offensive juice? They've drafted pretty well defensively the last 2+ drafts, but offensively, they've needed a lot of juice. They got some decent wide receivers. Trey McBride is one of the best tight ends in football. They've invested in the offensive line, but they've been struggling to score the last couple of years. So you get the best running back in the draft and you throw Carson Beck out there. If he works out, that means you don't have to invest a first round pick in a quarterback next year. You can go best
Yeah.
available player. If Beck doesn't work out and you become a 3 or 4 win team, you're picking in the top five, you got some wiggle room because you do have a team like the Jets who have 3 first round picks. So you
Mhm.
can always call a team like that to move around if you choose to. But no, Arizona, they've never came across as a team that had pride, that felt like, you know what, everybody else thinks we're no good to compete, but we're going to compete with these other teams. You and I both understand they're not competing with Seattle.
No,
They're not competing with the Rams. They probably won't compete with San Francisco.
no way.
But to quote Chris Berman, that's why they play the game.
All right. And on that note, thank you everyone for watching this episode of This Week in Pro Football. We'll talk to you guys soon.